everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be doing a little IQ test. There are about 10 questions in this test. How it's going to go is I'm going to ask you the question, and then I'm going to give you some time to think about it. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you what the answers are. So make sure you stay tuned. But yeah, let's just get right into the video. Alright, so question number 1. We got a number sequence. It's 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13. What I want you to tell me is what number comes after the 13. What number do you think comes after 13? If you don't know how to do this, all you're really doing is looking for the pattern. That's all you're really doing. Trying to figure out how one number becomes the next, and how that number becomes the next. And that's really it. Nothing too complicated. But yeah, what number you think comes after 13? What number do you think it is? I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds to think, and then we're gonna move on to the next question. But what number do you think comes next in a sequence? What number comes after the 13? What number do you think it is? Alright, next question. Question number 2. We got 3 triangles right here. We got one faced up with one side shaded, and then we got another one faced up with the other side shaded, and then we got a triangle on its side with the top shaded, and then we're missing one right here. One triangle is supposed to be right here. So out of these 4, which one do you think makes the most sense to fill that missing spot? Do you think it's A, the upside down triangle with one side shaded? Do you think it's B, the triangle on its side but nothing shaded? Do you think it's C, the one on its side with the bottom side shaded? Or do you think it's D, the other triangle on its side with the top shaded? Which one makes the most sense? Which one do you think it will be? Do you think it's A, B, C, or D? Which one do you think it is? I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds, and then we're gonna go to question number 3. What triangle do you think it is? Alright, question number 3. We got this triangle right here. So the question is, how many triangles do you see in this big triangle right here? In total, how many can you count? I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get this one at first. I missed a couple. But how many do you see in triangle right here? Count all of them. Let's just pretend that this line right here is straight and not curved. It's a little curved. But yeah, how many triangles do you see right here? Let me try moving it closer. How many triangles do you see in that big triangle? How many do you count? How many do you think there are? Alright, next question. For this next question, we got some numbers and squares. We got the number 8, 7, 9, 12, 15, 17, 8, 24, and 15. I want you to tell me what the missing number is right here in the 3rd row. What number do you think goes there? And I'm gonna give you a little hint for this one. What you have to do is add up numbers, and then for the sum of the numbers, see see how they relate to each other. You're looking for a pattern again. I'm not going to tell you which numbers to add because it's going to be too easy, I think. But yeah, you gotta add some numbers and then see the pattern with the sum of the numbers that you just added. That's all you're doing for this one. Adding up the numbers and then looking at the sums. I might give you a little more time for this one. You got 8, 7, 9, 12, 15, 17, 8, 24, and 15. What belongs in the missing square? What number is it? Alright, next question. We got this little drawing right here. It's a bunch of squares. This one's pretty simple. But where in this little grid right here is there gonna be a shaded square? Again, all you're really doing is looking at the pattern. That's all you're doing for this one. What square do you think is shaded right here? In this grid of 9 squares, what square do you think is shaded? I'm not gonna give you too much time on this one because it's pretty easy. But yeah, what square is shaded? Alright, next question. Alright, so for this next question, we got a math related one. What I want you guys to figure out is what the answer is right here, where I'm pointing at. So, you guys have to figure out what number these symbols mean. And then you gotta do a little bit of math. Nothing crazy. But yeah, all you're doing is figuring out what the symbols mean. What number are the symbols? And then you're just doing some math on the bottom. That's all you're doing for this one. I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds. But what is the answer on the bottom? What do you think the answer is? You gotta multiply, divide, and add on the bottom. Multiply, divide, and add to get the answer. What do you think the answer is? What could the answer possibly be? What do you think it is? Alright, we're gonna move on now. Alright, so for this next question, we got this word right here. All you have to do is unscramble it. That's all you're doing for this. I'm gonna give you a little hint. It's an object. That's all I'm really gonna say, because if I say anything else, it's gonna be too obvious. But, yeah, it's a 10-letter word. A lot of people have this. That's all I'm really gonna say. But yeah, it's a 10-letter word. It's an object that most people have. It comes in different sizes. That's another hint. But yeah, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? Alright, next question. So here we have a square filled with the letter E and the letter F. I want you guys to count all of the F's. Try and find all of them. That's all you're doing for this one. Just counting. Just count all the F's you see. I'm not gonna give you too much time because it's not that hard. So just count all all of them that you see. That's all you're doing for this one. Just counting. Alright, next question. We got another number sequence. What number do you think comes after the 33? All you're doing is trying to figure out what number comes after 33. That is all you're doing. Again, all you're doing is looking for a pattern. That's all you're doing, is looking for 33. What comes after 33? You got 2, 3, 5, 9, 17, and 33. What comes next? What number do you think comes next? What number do you think it is? Alright, next question. We got a maze. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to solve this maze. The entrance is right here, and you gotta exit from here. So starting right now, 30 seconds, go. You got, I think like 27 seconds now. Figure out this maze. That's all you're doing. Finding the exit to this maze. I was gonna make the maze bigger, but then I thought, nah, that's too much. I think that was 30 seconds. So, next question. This is gonna be the last question of the test. We got Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. Which one doesn't belong out of these 4 groups? Which group doesn't belong here? Is it Group A, Group B, Group C, or Group D? What group do you think it is? The dice look kind of weird. My bad. But what group doesn't belong here? Do you think it's A, B, C, or D? Which one do you think it is? Which group doesn't belong here? Which group do you think it is? Which group do you think doesn't match up with the other ones? What group do you think it is? I'm gonna give you like 10 more seconds to try to figure it out. Alright, I think that's 10 seconds. I really don't know. But yeah, now it's time for the answers. So, question number 1. The answer was 21. All you were doing was adding the number and the previous number. So you got 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 5 plus 8 is 13. So 13 plus 8 is 21. Now for this one, the answer was C. Because it can't be A. It doesn't make sense. Why would it be upside down? It can't be B because there's nothing shaded. And D is the only, or D is the same one as this one. So it wouldn't be that one. So your only option was C. Now for the triangle, the answer was 18. You got 1 triangle, 2, 3. These 2 would be 4. These 2 would be 5. These 3 would be 6. Because it makes a triangle. These 2 are 7. These 2 are 8. These 2 are 9. These 4 are 10. These 4 are 11. These 6 is 12. These 3, 13. These 3, 14. These 3, 15. These 6, 16. These 6, 17. And then the whole thing is 18. That's how you get 18. But for this one, the answer was all you had to do was add up each row and then see how the sum of each row was being multiplied. So for this one you had 8, this one's 16. You can't really do this one yet because you don't know what this one is. But this one's 64. So you'd see it's 8, 16, and then it goes to 64. So what number would come next in that sequence in between these two? It would be 32. So you add these two and then subtract it by 32 and you get 5. So that's how that one's 5. For this one, the answer was this box right here, this square, would be shaded in. Because it goes top, middle, bottom, top, middle, bottom, top, middle, bottom. That's how you get that answer. Now for this one, the answer was 14. You get it because two of these two are 5, because it equals 10. These two would be 4, because 4 plus 4 equals 8. And then you bring the 5 down from up here. And then, you know, the sum is 11. So, what plus 5 equals 11? 6. But since there's 2, it would be 3 each. So, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 5 is 11. And then here, you gotta bring down the 4 that you got from up here. And figure out what subtracted by 4 equals 8. So the answer would be 12. And then since there's 2, each of these would be 6. So then you gotta do 5 times 6 equals 30. And then divide it by 3, which is 10. And then add 4, which is 14. So the answer is 14. The answer for this was television. It's an object that most people have. Television. For this one, there were 5 F's. There's one right here, one right here, one right here, one right here, and one right here. That's 5 in total. For this one, the answer was 65. Because all you're doing is multiplying by 2 and then subtracting 1. So 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6, minus 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10, minus 1 is 9. So you know 33 times 2 is 66, minus 1 is 65. That's how you get 65 for this one. So for the maze, just follow my pen. Just follow the pen. Boom, boom, boom. Go down. Go right. Up, down, up, down, right, down, right, up, right, down, left, and then down. And then you're out. The odd one out is B. Right here. Because at the top of each dice, if you subtract them both, the answer is 1. Except for B. So 5 minus 4 is 1. 6 minus 5 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. But 6 minus 4 isn't 1, it's 2. So that's why that's the odd one out. Alright, but that's all I got for this video. If you got 0 through 3 of these right, then your IQ is pretty low. Sorry to tell you. If you got 4 through like 7 right, your IQ is pretty average. You know, it's not too bad, but it's not too good either. But if you got 8 through 11, then you're a genius. Your IQ is probably like the same as Einstein's. So good for you. Give yourself a pat on the back.